for just a little bit for this presentation. And we have some people with tasers, and you touch tase you if you're not off, so let's not do that. All right, all the way from Arlington, Texas, we have a couple of people here who are going to speak to us regarding using video in police operations. How many other people are there from Texas? Actually, without raising your hands, let's try this. The stars at night are big and bright. That's all our Texas folks. So welcome, and glad you could be here. All the way from Arlington, Texas, we have Officer Zhivonni McDonnell and Lieutenant Chris Cook. They both look like they're 13 or 14 years old, which makes them experts, subject matter experts in this field, of course, right? So they're going to talk to us a little bit about using video in police operations. So please help me welcome both Officer McDonnell and Lieutenant Cook.
Thank you. So, as it always happens, you know, we teach all over the country, and there's always technical difficulties when we get up here. So bear with us. We've got some technical difficulties. Hopefully the presentation will proceed without any major errors. I'm Christopher Cook. Thanks for the introduction. I'm actually a lieutenant in Arlington, Texas, and we have 5 people in our media office. We have 2 civilian, 3 sworn, and I've been with Arlington about 20 years in law enforcement total. Go ahead, G.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Zhivonni McDonnell. They call me Gigi for short. I've been a police officer about 15 years now, 5 more years. I'm going to retire, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. I've been in the media office for about 3 years. Lieutenant Cook brought me in to basically just do social media. And at first, it was just like, what is social media? Okay, law enforcement never really jumped into that territory yet, so he actually gave me the reins to try to figure out what worked for Arlington. And I think that whatever works for us is actually getting the word out. People are coming to us to try to figure out what we're doing, and what works for us may not work for you guys. So I'm happy to be here, and we are looking forward to showing you how we do some of our videos.
Reason I'm standing up here, the clicker broke, so I'm gonna have to stand up here and push this little button up here. So a little bit of Arlington. Obviously, we're in the middle of Dallas and Fort Worth. We're home. We got a lot of big name venues out there that really helps us to capitalize on some of the social media. Example, you'll see a video hopefully here in a little bit. We had the Academy Country Music Awards about 2 weekends ago, and so we try to use any and everything we can. But I would stand up here and argue, it doesn't matter if you don't have the Dallas Cowboys, Texas Rangers, or whoever in your community. If you have a little league park, if you've got community fairs, you can do this kind of stuff, this video stuff, and really highlight your social media. We have about 640 sworn officers. Again, 5 people in the media office. And typically the way we do our media office, everybody, you know, some people are jealous we have 5 people, but in reality, it's usually me and G are kind of taking care of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We do subscribe. We have Nixle and we have Nextdoor, and so it's usually us doing that. The other ones are kind of doing some other things as well. So let's get started with the presentation. And the first thing we're going to say, and I know this kind of small print up here, is if Chris and Gigi can do this, anybody in this room can do this, because I do not have a video background at all. I didn't have any kind of media background.
That's so true. We had no knowledge. All we knew how to do was use our iPhone, and that was it. That was video to us. So Lieutenant Cook, he's really book savvy. He likes to read, so he kind of learned how to do it and taught me the ropes.
Just like this picture up here, this is completely Photoshopped, but it's actually Photoshopped on the iPhone. And so I can tell you right now, if you're not familiar with Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, those are complicated software platforms. But now with, and we're not an Android family up here. I apologize for the Android users out there. But from an iPhone perspective, you can do so many things on the iPhone to create little graphics and stuff that will really highlight your videos. A little bit of how we approach social media in Arlington. We really follow the IACP model, which is International Association of Chiefs of Police, really their best practices. And I think some of the speakers alluded to it earlier when they did a precursory search on their social media, that it was all kind of crime blogs and stuff like that. Similar to Arlington, when we first started, we had a Facebook account for recruiting. It really wasn't used a whole lot. We created Twitter for the Super Bowl back in 2011, maybe.
That wasn't even used because no one really knew how to use it.
And so we came in, we really revamped the way we're doing this. And our social media, you won't see a lot of doom and gloom. You won't see a lot of crime stuff. It's not that we're not being transparent, because we will put some important stuff out there if we need the community's help. But in reality, especially with the national dialogue going on nowadays, everything since post-Ferguson has really changed. We need to make sure that we're doing the best we can to highlight our officers and the great work that's occurring. And so hopefully if there's anything else that you don't get out of the presentation, is you steal some of these ideas, see if they'll work for you guys to really Uh, So what is video? You know, people are visual learners. You can tell a really large story with video. So you kind of talk about B-roll and how that
Okay,
reinforces
sure.
our message.
B-roll basically makes up the video. You can have someone talking, and what the B-roll is, it covers up, it's footage that what the person's talking about, and it covers up while he's talking or she's talking. So it kind of makes the visual come to life. So B-roll is very important. That can be very time consuming, but we the good thing about the B-roll is you can use your iPhone, you can use a DSLR camera, you can use a Sony cam. So you can use all these types of apparatuses to actually get the B-roll that you need. But the B-roll makes the video.
And what's really neat about this, and we're going to show you at the end of the presentation, you get a lot of this equipment for free. I know there's somebody from Illinois said, hey, I heard your presentation
Still
in
over there,
Clearwater.
right? Yep. You tried to get it for free, but they said it's all in general fund. So we said, that's probably not a good idea. So, but we'll tell you how to get all this equipment for free.
Yeah, so there's a lot of budget conscious solutions because back in the past when you're trying to do video, again, it was complicated. You have to have expensive equipment. You had to have an expensive video editing program. And if you really didn't have the skill set, it was difficult to pull off. Nowadays, anybody can do this. And so one thing I always like to highlight is they say 1 minute of video is worth about 1.8 million words. And I don't know where they come up with that or who they survey with that. But in reality, what they're trying to say is you can cover such a large story with video and you can tell such a great story. And so that's really been our, one of our successes in Arlington. People really try to stay tuned into the videos.
Visual storytelling is essential for a business to succeed.
Could you
today.
crank our
For
audio up
example,
just a little bit?
A web user, a social media user, if you have video in your message, you are 500% more likely to be interacting and having that video shared than simply a text message. 75% of communicators are increasing visual storytelling in 2014. Why? Because with visual storytelling, there's more traction, there's more sharing, there's more activity, there's more touch and feel, and you have more brand activation. Finally, 90% of all activation in terms of web interactions is initiated by video today. So the whole world is changing when it comes to video, and our corporate clients are anxious to get ahead of the curve and change with it.
And obviously that video is not for really police and stuff like that. That's more for corporate type videos. But I'll tell you right now, what we want to try to convey when we're creating our video projects is why should somebody click in and look and watch our video and actually stay in tune with the video. You can see that little iPhone model over there. 20% of online viewers click away in the first 10 seconds. That's crazy. Within 2 minutes, 60% of your viewers are gone. And when we first started in video, we created this show called Inside APD. And we thought we wanted to be like the news media, right? So we wanted like a 15, 20, 30-minute news show. But we found out real quickly
Yeah, which took us forever to film and edit. And we just thought we were cool. And we're just like, oh, this is not a good idea. Too time consuming and people are already clicking away.
So tips on telling your story. Number one, what kind of video do you want to make? There's obviously public service announcements. We do the monthly show Inside APD, which is more about transparency. You know, it's crazy, but a lot of your community, you think that they're more connected now than ever because of social media. But in reality, every time we do a show on our commercial vehicle enforcement unit or our K9 unit or our SWAT team, and I know SWAT's not real popular in the world right now with the militarization of police argument going on, but every time we do a video about that and show the behind the scenes, it gets thousands upon thousands of views. There's a lot of interest. So it goes back to educating the public. And so who is your audience? You got to know what that kind of helps shape your scripting and stuff like that when you determine what you want to do on your video. Should it be an entertain or inform? There's somebody from Dover I saw here last night, and obviously that was a crazy funny video, and it did both, right? Viral is not a kind of video. I know that I love viral videos, and we've had two, I guess you could say, viral videos, but they're hard to predict. And so what we've got to tell, especially new PIOs, is don't try to create a viral video because really and truly the public is in complete control on how many views that video is going to get or not. And so sometimes there's some tips along the way. It's really being creative, maybe a catchy title, right timing, and a bit of luck.
And just to interrupt real quick, we do have a social media magazine. We don't have it with me, but if you have a thumb drive, we can always download it for you and give it to you. All this information is in this magazine. It's about 30 pages long about kind of the Arlington way, kind of how we do it, how we do social media, Facebook, Twitter, and video production. So if you want that magazine afterwards, just come up to us. We'll try to download it for you. So just want to make that noted first.
Yeah, we used to print the magazines, and we were printing so many. The chief said, "Hey, start making it available electronically." So last thing on this, I want to kind of point out is your host and talent should look great. You know, I can tell you if you go to Arlington's YouTube channel, you're not going to see every video with just Chris and G in it. Not that we don't look great, right? But you know, there's so many officers and civilians in your organization that you can really highlight. You need to tap into that talent as well. So don't forget about everyone working in your organization as you start creating some of these videos. And so tips on how to tell your story. Kind of funny photo, the young lady that's over there in the bottom right, we had to put her on a 12-pack of Cokes to get her kind of hyped up for the camera. But some real important things we've learned along the way. You know, bad audio, poor lighting will make an awful video. You can have the best video footage. You can be shooting off a $10,000 camera, but if your audio is bad, your video is going to really suck. Humanize your officers. That's what social media does already. You can do that, enhance that with the power of video. We do a lot of humor where appropriate. We try to keep it short and follows a logical progression. And then we're going to show you briefly, you know, some of the resources that are out there to create these fancy transitions. And when your chief or your sheriff or whoever you report to sees these transitions, they'll think, wow, man, you've got a really good skill set.
Yep, and the thing is, they're really inexpensive. You can get a transition for $5. You can get a whole the one jingle that we did, the cross country jingle. The template costs maybe $40, but it looks good. It doesn't take a lot of time for us to create. It's already created for us. So if you have some extra money out there, we'll show you how to get those transitions, intros, endings, and also some templates. You know, very reasonable to make your video look good.
So when somebody comes to us and says, hey, I need a recruiting video, or hey, I need this video, first thing we do is, number one, we determine who the audience is. We determine who our host and talent is. We're going to determine the shots that we're going to need. And then we're going to determine if we're going to script it or impromptu. I'll tell you, Chris and G up here, we usually go impromptu. The professionals will say always stick to a script, because a script not only helps you keep on task, but it helps your post-production person, which is typically us anyway, when you're going through the final editing process. Scripts, we've done scripts a few times, but they're just kind of a pain every once in a while. So it's really your preference.
And impromptu, I think, is a little bit more natural. If you have someone who can talk, I think it comes out more natural and more humanizing, I think, than just a script where you're just, you know, talking whatever's saying, and you kind of look like you're talking and not actually being natural.
And so the $1 million question up here, the chief always asks me, okay, if I need a 5-minute video, how long is it going to take you to turn that? Well, not including shooting it and setting it all up, about 1 hour of editing yields about 1 minute of post-production. So that kind of gives your boss kind of a rule of thumb on why time management is so essential as you're creating your content. And so some of the equipment and all of this up here, we got completely free. And again, we have some slides that explains how we got all this for free. Because we like the iPhones, we use Apple Final Cut Pro as our primary editing suite for the studio. Now, if G will talk a little bit about mobile video on the go, and she uses iMovie, stuff like that. You know, teleprompter up there on the top, we use a Sony XD-Cam studio camera, but all this is an iPad teleprompter. And Keith loves it because I'm able to script out exactly what I want him to say. He sits there and it looks like that he's just a natural, and then that iPad, it just kind of scrolls into that mirror and it looks like he's completely awesome on that stuff. So that teleprompter goes a long way.
And that costs about $1,000.
We use a lot of DSLR stuff because that Sony XD-Cam, it's kind of hard to see, but it's pretty big and bulky, and I hate taking that in the field. And so G will, we've issued DSLRs. We're using the Canon 60 and 70Ds right now. And that shoots great video, plus it gets you some photos and stuff like that on top of it. That's a little Beach Tech audio adapter on the bottom where I can use the Sennheiser little wireless mics. And then we have a little Rode shotgun mic. We'll do that for natural sound as well. Lighting's pretty inexpensive depending on what model you get. Backdrops, green screen, all that good stuff. Pretty good. So how did we get the equipment for free? That map up there at the top left is where all this free money is available, all the markets. And what it is, it's called PEG, and I forget what PEG stands for. But if you have a cable television provider in your community, I don't know how this works in Canada, but in the United States, they pay a franchise fee to support local government broadcasting. And so there's only certain things that pay money can be spent on. Computer technology, TV monitoring, vehicle, which we don't have a car yet, but I told you we'll buy a car with it, right? renovation and construction of facilities, which we just bought a $400,000 studio for the city using this PEG money. I mean, it's just crazy nice studio. We've only used it a handful of times. And so all of this money, you know, customers pay this fee. And the way you get to use the money to buy this equipment is when you create that, you know, Inside APD show, or you create that recruiting video, you put that on that local government channel, and then you're in compliance. You know, you get audited. And so a lot of good things on the.
So someone in your city is getting that money if you have a cable company. So ours is the Office of Communication for the city. So we befriended them and we go to their meetings and they give us money for things that we need to try to create these videos to push on their channel, as well as our YouTube and all of our other social media platforms. So if I were you, I'd check in to see who has that money, who has the purse strings to try to get that money, so that way they can share it with you, as long as you're giving them content to post on their cable television.
It's kind of hard to see, but we do have some breakout sessions over the next 2 days where we'll kind of talk about this. But there's really 3 phases when you're producing these videos, you know, and I'm not trying to get too technical because we're not very technical up here, but you have your pre-production, which is just that planning phase. You know, what kind of video? Who's my audience? Where am I going to try to direct this stuff? Then your post-production, when you're out there, you've already gathered all your footage and you're editing it, stuff like that. You're adding that B-roll footage that really makes the cut, as G spoke about earlier. And then your final production part is really creating that sound quality, removing the hum out of the people's voices, stabilizing the video, or any other kind of edits that you need to do. Kind of hard to see, but if you ever use a green screen, don't have somebody wear a green shirt. That doesn't work out too well, right?
Hi, welcome to our top 10 tips for creating your corporate video. We know there's lots to consider when putting your video together, but our experience has taught us that these are the 10 most important things. Get these right and your audience will be glued to the screen. Your eyes are wonderful. They can adapt to all sorts of lighting conditions, from a bright sunny day through to a dimly lit office in the middle of winter. But video is not quite so flexible, and most office lighting is not designed to look good on video. Bad lighting will present the wrong image for your business. Creative lighting can be used to add drama to your message. Good lighting will make you and your business look professional. Someone, and I don't know who, once said that an audience will never notice good sound quality in a movie, but they'll certainly notice bad sound quality. Bad quality sound like this detracts from your message. Your audience will focus on trying to hear what's being said, and they'll miss the whole point of your video. So let's restore the sound quality like this and say it again. Make sure your sound quality is up to standard. In general, you're not trying to produce a fashion show for your video, so the clothes you wear should be appropriate to your business. If you would normally wear a suit to see a client, then that's probably what you should wear for your video. If you would normally wear a shirt like this one, and I possibly would to see some of my clients, then that's absolutely fine. But what you have to remember is your video is going to date much more quickly. In general, keep it simple. Plain clothes always work best and will not go out of fashion. Plan what you're going to say.
And so I'm going to send this link to Lori, and she put it on her Connected Cop site. We won't go through that whole thing just for sake of time, but you know, these are some easy tips, and we subscribe to a service called lynda.com. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but there's so many easy tips out there that'll really help you along the way create these videos. And so some of the stuff that Arlington's been using, here's just an example of creating like an intro to a surveillance video that was actually produced in Final Cut Pro. You can see it's so easy to spin the stuff. All that is photos that Gigi's taken, and she's spliced them together. G, how long it takes you to put that together? Probably just a couple minutes?
A couple minutes, not long.
And then you can add your little tickers at the bottom. This is like a surveillance footage that we were asking the public's help. Another one, DWI jingle. I'll kind of play this one real quick. It's real short. Again, all shot on the iPhone and DSLR. That's it.
We know when you've been drinking. We know if you
The motor guys look so happy wearing those.
We know if you've been bad or good, so do not press your luck Oh, you better not drink, you better not drive, better watch out, I'm telling you why. APD is out on the town.
I had to promise those motor guys a nice lunch to get them to wear those hats.
You know, and that wasn't the perfect day to shoot that. It was an awful day. It was cloudy, it was rainy, it was windy. So the mic was just a play mic. We actually pinned a mic to him. And the thing is, going back to using your talent. Okay, he's a singer. He was on American Idol several years ago. He made it to Hollywood, but he didn't actually make the cut in Hollywood after a short while. But, you know, you have talent out there. Look for them, use them. And that way, you know, you can try to humanize your officers for your department.
Some other ones, spur of the moment type example. This was shot on the iPhone and edited on iMovie just because Final Cut Pro doesn't work on the phone device.
But Lieutenant Cook was at the right place at the right time just to capture this.
Not the best piano player, but you know what? This humanizes officers. The public loves to see officers in this type of role. You can see, you can put the title bar right there on the iPhone. You get the point. It's just really easy. And then you can put the outro at the very end. You can save those on your phone. And I guarantee this stuff works on the Android probably. I'm just not an Android person, so I don't know which platform, but I'm sure there's people in the audience that would know. Another one, grant projects. I'll tell you something, a quick little secret. State Farm gives out money all the time. We've received now $7,500 in the last 24 months from them, and all they ask is you create one teen safety or some kind of driver safety video. So this one was 2 years ago. We just got another $5,000 just the other day to create this, and you can use that money for anything. Again, intro created in Final Cut Pro with just some photos.
How is it doing?
Different camera angles. G was sitting in the back seat.
A few drinks. A lot. That's how you.
Another different camera
Yeah,
angle.
I didn't drink that much.
Kind of fading to black with like a community type message.
It's 675. I'm behind a possible DWI driver. It's a black Volkswagen. I'm gonna try and stop him here in 700 block of Main Street.
Again, some different angles. We did this one because Texas leads the nation in alcohol-related fatalities.
I think we had 4 people working that day with just different types of angles with the cameras, iPhone, DSLRs. Yeah.
We use the GoPro camera here. And then you can see G got kind of low and just shot a different kind of angle. There's so many things you can do to be creative on your shots to really change your video up. And so you get the point on that one. So time lapse, we love time lapse. Now, if you are, the new iPhone 6 has it built into it. It's really neat. So let me just show you kind of just some examples. We actually use a GoPro camera on this. GoPro costs you about $350. And the city manager, city council, mayor, they love you when you create stuff like this for the city. Again, just like a little league park.
There's Jerry's World right
Jerry's
there.
World. So all we did, we moved from spot to spot in the city, and we just let the time-lapse photography. And the way time-lapse photography works, all this really is it's taking photos, but then you put it together real fast, and it makes it look like a video. So just to speed it up, you get the point of that one. And so there's so many ways to do this. Now with the iPhone 6, we don't even use the GoPro hardly a whole lot. We'll actually set our camera up in the Cowboy Stadium or whatever we're trying to shoot for some time-lapse stuff. This is just an example of some different things you can do for fallen officers. I'm sure that every agency's been touched.
Officer Jillian Smith, badge number 2650, answered her last call on December 28, 2010, After a year of dedicated service to the department,
We just spliced those photos together to
we will
create the
miss you,
video.
Jill. You will never be forgotten. May you rest in peace. Station 3 is clear.
You know, they're always too young. Every single time. Jillian
This
was
is
no
our
different
chief.
in that regard, but where she was very
And
different.
so you have the
was
photos you start out
in
with,
how
and then
she
you just
died.
incorporate some
Not
of this
the fact that
video.
she
And
was
it's
shot.
basically, we did script this
Because
one out. This
others
one
have
needed
been
to be
shot,
scripted
but-
because it needed
but
to be
what
done
she was
right
doing
because
in
it's
her
such a
final
touchy
minutes
subject.
Yeah, and on there's a light
save the life of a
behind him
child.
that just sprays
I think it
the
speaks
red,
volumes.
and you can
Despite
also
it
get
early
different colors to spray
in
different
sixth
lights, and
grade,
it's all it is
I
a
mean,
white
she
wall.
always wanted to
Yeah,
get
that was a
in.
white wall with a different
That was
spray
her
light.
dream.
And all of this is done in Final Cut Pro,
Every
again,
day.
with people that do not have video backgrounds. So like I say, anybody can do this.
She did it.
So how do you create the intros, outros? How do you customize your video? You might be wondering that. Well, there's so many resources available out there. And again, G alluded to the fact we have a social media magazine, and we'll be happy to send this to you guys. But we use a lot of these different services. Some of them are really cheap, like Intro Champ, Flixpress, stuff like that. You use $4 or $5 will get you a custom intro. G, kind of talk about Animoto, Fotolio, Shutterstock.
Sure. Animoto, that's really simple. I mean, if you want a quick and easy video, anyone can use it. It's just basically drop and drag into a video template. You're shaking your head. Are you using it? No? Okay. Okay, it's very, very simple. I even did one really quick right before the Rangers home opener. Okay, right before the Rangers home opener, I was in bed and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try my Animoto app. I put that in there. I plugged in a whole bunch of photos with a baseball template, put some baseball music on it, and within like 10 minutes, I created a video right on my phone using the Animoto app. It's so simple. Uploaded to YouTube, put it on my Facebook, tweeted it out, got thousands of likes. But Animoto is very easy. It's about $295 a year.
I don't know if that's hers or ours.
Mine. Okay. Like I said, it's about $295 a year. You can get coupons online to get 50% off. You can use that PEG money and use it. And it's very simple. It's very fast. You can, I don't know what it is. Okay. And it's easy to, we're good? Okay. And it's very easy to download, like if you wanted a high res, a 720, and also lower and stuff like that to try to fix your needs that you need.
You know, one thing I want to say about Google Images and stuff, when you're looking for images that you need to use, we use a service. We used to have Fotolio. It's a little pricey, but again, PEG money pays for it. We've moved to Shutterstock. When I say it's pricey, it's around $3 or $4 grand a year, but you don't want to get caught using copyrighted images. So be careful if you need it. If you're looking for some images to put in a video, we try to shy away from the Google Images kind of stuff. All right, so here's some examples. Well, these are some plugins, templates, again, in the magazine that we'll provide a copy to. So this is an example of an introduction.
I think that costs about $2.
Yeah, $2 will get you something like this. You can customize it. Another little deal. We use Adobe After Effects in some things. Apple Motion's kind of difficult, so this is an Adobe After Effects little template for $5, and it creates a little puzzle, your patch or your badge, whatever. Again, another little intro deal you can plug in. We do a lot of tweet-alongs. And so we do a lot of videos on our tweet-alongs, and so we'll just put that on the iPhone and when we're filming some footage. This is another little Adobe After Effects. It's kind of goofy.
That's us.
What are you doing?
Doing what we do best. Go Cowboys.
Yeah, that was played on the Jumbotron at the Cowboy Stadium. We had First Responder Appreciation Day, so they allowed us to do a 10-second clip. So we're like, hey, let's try to push our Twitter account up there for everyone to see.
Yeah, I mean, it just drives traffic back to your social media platforms. I'm going to show a better one. This was 2 years ago, but again, I'm just showing you kind of the template. These templates, this is from Motion VFX. We do a lot of business with them. They they do a lot of the animation stuff that I would have no.
The men and
knowledge
women
to
of
do.
the Arlington Police Department wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Go Cowboys!
Mele Kalikimaka and Haoli Makaliki Ho from the Honolulu Police Department.
From our families to yours.
Have a safe and happy holiday season.
Aloha.
And so what we did every year, we try to invite other agencies. Here's the current one from last year to participate and send us a video. We do this every
On behalf of the men and
year.
women of the Arlington Police Department, I'm Will Johnson, Police Chief. We're wishing you
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
From the energy capital of the United States, the Midland Police Department would like to wish you a
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, that's Texas.
Happy holidays from the Palo Alto Police Department. With the assistance of the
And so we do that every year. And then this is an internal one. We'll talk about it in just a minute so you can hear kind of what's going on with it. This was an internal video that actually went out to the media and got a lot of play, a lot of, humanizing again our officers.
Sirens wail, are you listening? Swerving planes, are you drinking?
This was shot on the iPhone as well.
Beautiful sight, APD bright shining lights, cruising in a winter.
I'll pause this for just a second. So talking about that last video, we do a contest, and this is just a freebie I'll throw out there in case you're thinking about it. Our chief always likes to have a contest every Christmas to do something, and once whoever wins that contest, he'll come in and work their shift for them. Usually it's evening shift, which is our rookie officers that normally they don't have enough seniority to pull Christmas. And so this year's contest was create a holiday-themed jingle that would address a community issue. And so that's kind of what happened. We put it on YouTube again, shot the whole thing on a smartphone, and it came out fine.
Yeah, I think that made it so nice and special was that the older gentleman singing with Sergeant Polk was the winner of the contest's dad. So he got to be in the video as well. So she was really happy about that. The next one is our recruiting. Again, it was like a template for $10. And we just posted this on our recruiting.
This stuff would be really hard to do if you didn't have the skill set. So that's why we use a lot of templates. I'll let the technical guy, and we'll continue talking, come up here and try to fix it. I apologize for the technical difficulties. And so, again, we use a lot of templates just because they're inexpensive.
Sergeant Jeff Rogers.
And they allow us to be able to do some things that we really wouldn't normally have the skill set to do. And so the main thing when we come up here and we try to create these videos, we really try to look for things that are being done. We still stuff all the time. Matter of fact, our monthly show, Inside APD, we actually went and visited Baltimore, and I know they're struggling right now. I know the PIOs personally, and we sent them a message earlier with Phil from. But they were doing like a daily show called BPD TV. And so there's no way, I knew from the beginning we wouldn't do a daily show. I don't know how they are able to do that. I don't know if they're still doing the daily or not. But that kind of gave us the ideal for the Inside APD. Then we visited Boston. They were doing kind of a monthly show. I know that a lot of agencies out there are doing these shows. And so, look at your other PIOs, look at your other departments, see what they're doing. I mean, we always joke around, but it's okay to steal ideas. It may work for your community. Good.
All right, fingers crossed here.
There we go. Let me just back up one. This is the intro to Inside APD. Again, it's a look at an Adobe After Effects template. But you can see the professional quality that it does. And we do a lot of split screen like this. You can do all of this in Final Cut Pro.
Sergeant Jeff Rogers. The reason we're here is every 2 years, we come
Let's go back to the recruiting.
Building or in a residential area or in a wooded area.
Do a little picture
and
in
also
picture.
car chases, cutting to
We also
progress,
put the
shooting the
GoPro
progress,
on the
stuff like
dog, which
that.
is kind of cool. Got a lot of air.
And as he gets
Got a lot
closer
of
to
air
where
on
a
the
bad guy
media.
is, he switches to the scent in the air. And what we try to do is we try to put the dog downwind of where we think a bad guy is going to be and go across the area and
Gigi's
wait for the dog
office.
to turn into the wind and then lead us to the bad guy.
Go back to recruiting.
Go back to the recruiting. It's pretty cool.
Okay. it's over. There we go. This is just called a flash fire effect, where you're fading to black really, really fast. And so as you see, that whole video that we did there was strictly photographs that we threw in there. And so real quick, we're going to get into Final Cut Pro and mobile video on the go. One of the things on this slide, the takeaway is there's so many different magazines you can subscribe to that really have a lot of good tips. We subscribe to Video Maker and Government Video is pretty good. Lynda.com, it's not a porno site, I promise. It's actually teaches you how to do a lot of cool things like Photoshop, Final Cut Pro, iMovie, whatever the case may be. And so that book up there, the Video Maker, it's actually a really thick book, but it's a great resource, again, when you're first starting into the video market and kind of learning some of the stuff. So I'm going to let G take this mobile video on the go and talk about some of the equipment that we use.
Sure. Mobile video on the go, it's really simple. Basically, we use our iPhone. Fortunately, the city does not give us our own iPhones. We use our own iPhones. So hopefully nothing ever happens to it because all of our footage is on there now. But basically, we use the footage from our iPhone, and there's some gadgets here. You can put your iPhone in here. It's very simple, and it has a lens that can make it go, to get your footage a little bit more closer and out more. We also have a stick that we use. It's kind of like a selfie stick they have now. You kind of go like this. You kind of hold out your cell phone, and then we also do video while we're using the stick, and we also put that on a lot on the air.
Yeah, there's a website called iOgrapher, and they sell microphones that work for iPhone or Android devices. You just plug in your headphone jack, and then you've got a professional lapel mic. Because a lot of times on the iPhone, and probably similar with other smartphones, they don't have real good sound quality. Just like the DSLR cameras, you need an external sound capturing device. And so another little gadget, if you already have invested in like the Sennheiser mics that they're using up here, you can just plug in this adapter, and then you can run the Sennheisers on your smartphone device. And so your equipment should go hand in hand, so you don't have to rebuy everything. This is just a different style. This is the iPhone, and it's got a professional lens here, that kind of a fishhook type lens. And so it helps you to steady your iPhone or your camera when you're shooting. And a lot of this stuff is pretty inexpensive. Most of it's under $100, I believe. We were just at the right place at the right time on this, and this was shot entirely on the iPhone. I'll let you make a decision on who won here. This is Gigi, and then another Fort Worth officer doing the Cupid Shuffle. Is that right?
Doing the Cupid Shuffle.
And I know a lot of these videos, they look really goofy, but again, it really just goes back into investing in your community, and people just like to see police in a different light. So much of the time when they call us or they interact with us, it's because they've been victimized or they're in an enforcement situation. Maybe they didn't have their seatbelt on. So when they can see us in this different kind of light, it really goes back to making investments in that emotional piggy bank, as we call it. So start talking about your mobile apps.
Mobile apps. We love mobile apps. We basically, if you want to Photoshop something, I may use like 4 or 5 of those apps to Photoshop a picture to get exactly what I want. My favorite that I like is Union. You can actually take a photo, and then you can put another graphic on top of that, and then you can mask it together. So there's like 3 different layers that you can put on a photo. And then if you like that photo, you can save it, and then you can put it on a different, like Mematic, and make it into a poster. So the Mematic is like up here. Mematic, that is like a poster. You can create a picture, and it looks like one of those posters that you see with the black around it and the white lettering. We do a lot of that.
Let me stop you just one second on the Union. If you've ever seen our photos, or you see Baltimore or Boston, and they have the little, strip, like a little scrolling bar with their
banner.
patch. That's how you do that. It's simple. You think that you're doing it in Photoshop, but you do it on the phone.
The iFi Mobi, that's something I highly recommend. In my my camera, I actually have a Wi-Fi card. So as soon as I take pictures at a special event that I have, I can automatically download them to my iPhone directly within seconds. So that way I have those good high-res pictures that I want to tweet out and put on our social media platforms. Eraser, that's just like Photoshop. You say if you have your patch and you want to make it into a transparent image, all you got to do is use Eraser. You plug in that picture and then you hit erase and it'll erase whatever area that you want to erase and make it into a transparent image.
And it's very helpful when you're doing videos. Videos don't like JPEGs. They like PNG files. And so that's the way you can do a PNG file and not know how to work with Photoshop. Snapseed is something new that we've been using, and I hate to give this secret out because everybody always asks us how we do these photos, but it's a brand new app. I think it's owned by Google, and it does some HDR kind of stuff, and I'm too dumb to realize what HDR stands for, but it makes really cool photos. And so we'll take like a picture of the sky or a picture of a storm, and I'll put it in that HDR setting, and then it looks like it's, you know, all hell's fixing to break loose on Arlington with this storm and stuff like that. So media, the public really likes that good stuff. Watermark, we like to watermark our images with our patch and badge using the transparent image. The Video Pro, Camera Pro effects, you know, they give you native controls over audio settings, white balance, stuff like that you would normally only get with a high-end camera. They will allow you to do that. Pic Collage, again, creates a huge number of like poster design elements, stuff like that. And then Touch Blur, if you've ever shooting video of like a suspect and you want to blur their face, like for us, we don't post suspect photos on our videos. We'll put it in Touch Blur and we'll blur their face or we'll blur the license plate. It's a real fast way of doing that.
Yeah, we usually do that when we tweet alongs and stuff like that, and we come across like a traffic stop. Okay, we don't want to actually tweet out a photo of the license plate, so we'll just put that into Touch Blur, blur it out, and then we can use the photo.
This is G's favorite app because she says I need a lot of makeup, so go ahead and tell them what it is.
Well, it's a great app. It's called Visage Lab, and here's the before picture. And then you put it in this little fine app, and it kind of like spreads out your wrinkles and whitens teeth, and it just makes you look a little bit younger than what you really are.
Use that a lot, right? Okay. So a lot of this stuff, when we're doing this mobile video on the go, like again, let's say that we're headed to a critical incident. We may not go grab our lighting equipment. We may not go grab our studio camera. You may not have your DSLR, and it's okay. You can do a lot of videos with just your smartphone. And so anytime we do a press release or if I'm giving the media sound on an incident, G will get in front of the reporters and start filming that.
Yeah, and our reporters know that I'm going to be out in the front, so I'll just get right in the center and I'll just bend down a little bit and they make room for me. And I'm there with my iPhone videotaping every single thing because I want to get our message out there right to the public immediately.
1100 block. You can put title bars and stuff like that. You can do pretty professional. Another example of like a tweet along that we've done where G will take photos, a little bit of B-roll footage on the video and just put it together in the field.
At around 10 p.m., we
do a voiceover.
major crash where a car struck a tree in the median. The sole occupant of the car lost control, drove over the curb, and then struck a tree.
This is a Traffic Tip Tuesday. It's a segment that we do on Tuesdays. It's a traffic tip to the public. Sometimes we'll do a video or sometimes we'll just picture with the tip on it.
The way that patch came together, you can do that on the phone.
This week's traffic tip is designed to keep you safe during
blah, blah, blah. This was the ACMs the other day using the time-lapse photography. This thing got thousands of views, and it's kind of goofy and silly, but we had a pretty good vantage point, I would say, for the award show. And so we'll put this little things together, and you know, the public that can't see what's going on, they're able to kind of see what's up. Which one's this?
This was a flyover at the opening day. Everyone loves flyovers. So we quickly took some footage, put it up in iMovie, downloaded it to YouTube, and tweeted it out and put it on Facebook. Got thousands of views.
Yeah, the news media actually ran this, and that's the good thing. The news media will see what you're putting on your YouTube channel, and they'll steal it from you, and that's okay. They always give us credit. It drives traffic to your websites. And then we always brand our videos with this little outro. which is join our conversation 24/7, 365. We are almost through, I promise. So what's the return on investment? You know, there's a lot of feedback that we get from the community through Twitter, Facebook message, where, you know, they really enjoy seeing policing, especially the Arlington Police Department, in a different kind of light, the different things that we do. And so I would argue that corporations, they will spend millions of dollars to get their message heard. But being that we're in governmental service, we have a good opportunity when we put up stuff on Facebook or Twitter or on YouTube. We're getting that free advertising. Now, my chief always says it's not free because you guys are having to do it. But I would argue compared to what corporations are spending on branding and reputation management, it is free in that regard. And so the return on investment has been really great. And so we're going to end our presentation with, if you don't remember anything, and I apologize if you've already seen this video, it's kind of cute. Please remember the vertical video syndrome. If you'll crank the volume up on that a little bit.
This video didn't have to look this way. It could have been prevented. Say no to vertical videos.
Vertical videos happen when you hold your camera the wrong way. Your video will end up looking like crap.
There are more and more people addicted to making vertical videos every day. It's not crack or nothing, but it's still really bad. There are two different kinds of people who are afflicted with VVS. The first group treats the videos they shoot like pictures. They don't mean any harm. They just don't understand that while you can turn a picture, you can't really turn a video.
The other group is people who don't give a
Vertical video syndrome is dangerous. Motion pictures have always been horizontal. Televisions are horizontal. Computer screens are horizontal. People's eyes are horizontal. We aren't built to watch vertical videos. I love vertical videos!
Nobody cares about you!
If this problem's left unchecked, YouTube will begin showing 4 videos at once, just to save bandwidth.
Letterboxed vertical videos would be the size of a postage stamp.
And it will spread everywhere. Movie screens have always been horizontal. If vertical videos become accepted, movie theaters will have to be tall and skinny.
And all the movie theaters would have to get torn down and rebuilt. And by the time they were rebuilt, Mina Kunis would be old and ugly.
And birds will crash into them and die.
And we will all get stiff necks from looking up.
And no one will sit in the front row ever again.
And George Lucas will re-release Star Wars again. The skinny edition.
I was never really able to tell the story that I wanted to tell. This is a great chance for me to experiment with a new technology.
You're a jerk.
Every time a mobile device is used to record video, the temptation is there. Just say no. Say no to George Lucas. Say no to old Mila Kunis. Say no to vertical videos.
And if you see someone doing it, say, "You're not shooting that right, dummy!"
So I appreciate your attention. You know, this is more of a broad overview of kind of what we're doing and what the technology is out there, how to get some free equipment. And so the next 2 sessions that we do on the hands-on, I think tomorrow we're going to do like Final Cut Pro. We've got our computer equipment here. We'll bring some of the portable equipment down and kind of show you how we're doing that. And then I think the other day is more on the mobile apps and how you shoot up mobile video on the go as far as the iPhone or an Android phone. So appreciate your attention. I think we got done in time. Unless there's any questions, we'll turn it back over to Lori.
Thank you.